mucus, a bacteria that leaves patients with breathing difficulties and chronic inflammation of the lungs and digestive system. More than 70,000 people worldwide are living with CF, which has an average life expectancy of less than 47 years.
A lot of excitement, though. A new drug that was fast-tracked by 4 different FDA programs could change the lives of teenage and adult patients in a matter of weeks, if not days. Joining us with the details, neurosurgeon and scientist, Dr. Raul Jandial. Welcome. This is amazing news. Many of us have heard of cystic fibrosis, so before we get to the excitement of the new treatments, what is cystic fibrosis?
Yeah, and partially I'm at fault for not having discussed this before. It's a very important condition because every child is tested for it, and there are treatments and pathways that the kids have to follow. The most important thing is our lungs are meant to be boggy. Like that, think of the lung as a kitchen sponge. If it's dry, it doesn't work. If it's too wet, it doesn't work as well either. So in cystic fibrosis, the gunk isn't cleared out of the lungs. And so what that means is you have trouble breathing. When that gunk remains behind, you get more pneumonias. When there are fires outside, you're particularly at risk. So all of a sudden you have these breathing issues, but a little bit different than asthma, which we often hear about.
What has been the traditional treatment up until this point?
Well, there are dedicated families and children. So when you know you have it since they're young, there are some medicines that open up the airways. Sometimes they have to take antibiotics even when they don't have an infection. They wear these vests. They look like bulletproof vests, but they're thumpers also. So they're constantly having to bang on their chest and back to physically loosen up the gunk so they can spit it out. It takes a dedicated team of care providers, parents, and kids to navigate this, and they do navigate it.
Yeah. So let's talk about this new drug.
Yeah.
It is, people are calling it a miracle drug.
It's interesting. It's 3 drugs in one, so that hits on something we've always talked about before. It's not always one new drug solves all the problems. The combinations can work. Also, if 90% of the people that have this genetic mutation, it applies to them. And some people, I think Boomer Science, one of the NFL quarterback's son, has this, and they're taking this medicine, and like within days, it's easier to breathe.
Wow.
So we don't always have this kind of success, but when I saw this article, I just saw this something to talk about.
Yeah. So this new drug would be for patients that are 12 years and older. The cost, though, and that's the thing when sometimes there's a new drug, the cost is astronomical, $300,000 a year. Would it be covered by insurance? Will there be help for people?
It will be. This is a nuanced question. So I know I don't work for the FDA. I'm not pro or con them. I'm not in the politics of medicine, but there are some drugs that are so expensive that we wonder, does it make sense? This drug, I think it'll be in the 300,000 range, will get covered in the next few months is what they're expecting because it's so effective and so helpful. Think about all the other life elements that'll improve. And I just think, I learned something from reading about cystic fibrosis that although it's only 30 to 40,000 people per year that have it, the community is so strong, and the research and the emotions they put behind it, as we know from families that have kids who are affected with health issues, that they've really driven the research and pushed things in that direction, and it's looping back for something good for their kids.
That is wonderful news. Dr. Jandial, neurosurgeon, scientist, and best-selling author of the book Neurofitness. More information on today's topic and other health stories, you can join the conversation with Dr. Jandial and the City of Hope on social media. Thanks.